Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Saturday. Almost homesteading with Janet, Donzel Cooper. I see people saying hi to Mike and Auntie Joanne. So let me see if I can pull it up on my screen. I'm getting notification, Mr. Hershey. Okay, so let me see if I can see what you guys are doing and saying. This thing drives me crazy. No notification. Did you guys get a notification? Garden, Quilt, and Art Show. No, I'm still not able to pull it up. but but I will keep going. So, my Renaissance grandma, hello. Silverback, tactical defense. Hello, 2A people. That would be me. That would be me too. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you. I don't know if this is your first time in here, but I've been 2A for a long time. Long, 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 long time. Muchos años. Muchos años. So, how is everybody doing this Wednesday afternoon? No, what am I talking about? Wednesday, Saturday. I'm looking at something else. Can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time over here. Oh, Yankee Sister Homestead said she got a notification and letting them run. Please let them run so I can get some money for postage and to pay my what is it? My Restream bill. Oh, everything is so expensive. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Those of you who are here the first time, this channel is about 8 generations, 6 living generations. I can't show you the two way stuff on this channel, but my son is more involved than this great 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 grandma. Why do I have this up there? Because you guys, I finished this almost finished this quilt top that I've been working on for the last 2 months that you see in back of me with like 25 years of pieces of scraps. But going back to my life story, I have been alive for 8 generations. There are 6 living generations. Some of you are saying you did get the notification. Well, that's good. And we all, of course, back in the day, everybody was 2A. You lived in the country, you had to handle your situation on your own land. My great grandfather, one of them, my great great grandfather, had 400 and I think like 60 something acres. Nobody was coming out there to protect that for you. You had to handle your own business. Both grandfathers hunted. My dad hunted, and people did that for food back in the day. I can cook some pretty good venison me own self. Tigsy, thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I did get your package. I showed it on Thursday. The the rosemary I think was DOA, but I took all the dead leaves off and just gave it enough water to let it know it was in new soil. I uppotted it and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Says my Renaissance grandma, if Maria Graham, if anybody I didn't see to speak to, I apologize. Chalk it up to these 76-year-old eyes and not to my heart because I try to say hello to everyone, 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 everyone. So, yes, Janet, I pay for Restream. And that's why you don't see like a logo in the chat. Well, that's so that I could try to have some other features that I used to have before, like some of the music. If I happen to get what do you call it, a super chat or something, some type of cash that I can see in the chat that you all can see, I can do my little money dance. My little money dance. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, and by the way, Tacky. No, no, not Tacky. I'm trying to Skilly. Child, don't get old. You can't remember your words. See, I do see you in the other chats. I'm just usually sitting back chilling in the bushes watching on TV. Skilly is his name. Oh, by the way, everybody who is a content creator, if you put exclamation mark GQUAT in the chat, you can drop your channel link. Trying to see if I can even bring up the stupid thing. Excuse me, Hershey, you're hurting my leg. No, no, no. Oh, he gets so needy when he hears me talking to you all. And he knows Auntie Joanne, who is my sister in the chat, who walks him when I'm in Arizona or whenever her and Uncle Ross go around. So, yeah, you guys. Oh, let me show you. Before I do that, let me tell you what the GQUAT stands for: gardening, cooking from scratch, the heritage arts, fine arts, and everything in between. We do rock painting, we make fabric postcards, collages, just about anything. And if you unalive it, I can cook it. I can cook anything, anything, anything. I don't cook a lot because there are so many channels cooking, but I do cook once, at least once once a month live. How many of you have cooked dinner tonight? How many of you are planning on cooking dinner? Let me see if I can get to the bottom of the chat here since I can't pull it up on my phone. On my phone. I have been, oh, there you are, Sissy Joanne Stevens, saying hello to everyone. Mona did what? I saw y'all coloring and everything this afternoon. Thank you for coming. Mona did what? My sister from another mister. She is mischievous, just like I am and have always been. She tickles me pink, all the stuff that she does. And she has two little people like Hershey that get needy and want her to pick them up whenever she's live too. Mike is cooking dinner now. Well, what is being cooked in y'all's houses? I actually cooked a couple times a day. I never do anything all at one time. So I made cornbread for breakfast and then later on for dinner, and I ate early because I have a weak stomach and my stomach doesn't like to eat late at night or like after the chat. So I made broccoli, a baked potato, and I seldom eat red meat. So I wanted to eat early. I had a ribeye steak, a small ribeye steak. Well, when I say small, it must have been a small critter, and it was thin cut, not not a big thick one. So you guys, I'm in my own ads. Yeah, I'm gonna skip them. That's okay as long as you watch some of them. So I'm gonna stand up, you guys, because I want to show you this project I have been working on since October. Mona did what? You've seen me working on it. So the well, the dimensions so far are, let's see, 5 times 12 is 60, 60 inches across approximately, and 72 inches down. I'm going to put a thin border going around the edges. I'm trying to decide whether to make it purple. I have a deep purple to go around, a 2-inch purple border, and then some type of a binding, or whether to make it black. I think black is going to make it too dark. Look like, look, look just scary. So I'm going to stand up, you guys, so that you guys can see this whole thing because it's on the back of my chair. And these are strips of quilt. Well, let me just say this. While I was working on it, I could see bits and pieces of quilts for the last 25 years. Not 25 years of scraps, heck no. But these were some of mostly my giveaway quilts because the quilts that I had for show were matchy matchy, all coordinated fabrics. And I usually kept those together and used every little piece of them. But I had a trash bin that I put fabrics in, strips that were two inches, less than 2 inches wide. So let me stand up, you guys, so that you can maybe see all the way down. All the way down. Oh, that's my hair hanging down, hanging down. Okay. So, how cute is that? And originally, what I was going to do was put some little sashing between each of the four patches, but then I decided not to because if I leave it like this, you can see X's, you can see diamonds. It's almost like an optical illusion. So let's talk about today is February 1st, and well, no, I'll keep everything positive. Oh, I don't want to pull that down. I, I got up on the chair today, first a stool, footstool, then a chair, because the top of the bookcase is 6 feet tall. Then above that, so that thing is about eight 8 feet up in the air. And I didn't have any help, and I kind of got up there and did it myself today, so I could show you guys what I was working on. What I was working on, but these bookcases around here. What I wanted to show you is that when I downsized and moved into this apartment, I actually gave away 11 I donated 11 bookcases of books. The books that I have on this wall are books that are Black history books, art books, business management, and business law books. I'm a retired management consultant, and that's what I did for a living to pay my bills. Now I ain't got no bills. No bills. Mother, hello. Hello, Mother. How are you doing today, Mom? I'll give you a call after I get off the chat. So, my mother is 93 years old. She's in the chat. No, she's not in the chat. She can hear what I say in the chat. She can't read it. She watches it on TV. And she gets so excited. Yeah, Yankee sister, this chair that I sit on, I had to get a stool because I couldn't step up onto the chair. And there was nobody here today. I was home alone. So I stood on the stool, stood on the chair. Then I stood on the other chair. Then I stood in the middle chair. Then I got on the other chair. Then I got back. And I hung it up. I wanted you to see my work. My work. So, how many of you? Oh, what are you guys cooking for dinner? Sissy, oh, my sister saying, good evening, Sissy, and to all in the live. What's funny, you guys, is my sister, Joanne Stevens, calls me Sissy, but I call her Sissy. It's like, how do you know which one is the sissy that you're talking to? Mother, Yankee sister saying hello. Almost homesteading with Janet is saying hello. Maria Graham is saying hello. Mom, I'm being naughty. My name wouldn't be the good daughter if I was not being naughty. That's what Daddy used to call me. He used to call me the good daughter whenever Mommy told him of some of my pranks during the day. And for those of you who don't know about my 2A-ishness, my first job when I got out of Howard University, my first full-time job, I was with the first class of women that did street patrol. in the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C. So, those of you who've been in the military know that in order to even carry your side piece, you have to be minimum a marksman. Marksman, sharpshooter, expert. I'm expert at what I used to do. What I used to do, my used to be work. So right now, all I'm working on getting the bullseye is in the middle of a sewing machine needle or a hand needle. And that what we're going to do tonight. You guys didn't tell me what you cooked for dinner. I cleaned my screen today. How many of you clean your screen on your computers before you go live? So I did some due diligence and I looked up some information because when I replay my live stream and I look at them, they look blurry and smeary to me. So I figure that's one of the reasons I started paying for Restream. I thought I could get a clearer picture, and then I cleaned my screen. And the information I came up with how to clean your screen is to get a paper towel and the hand cleaning gel and clean it with that. So that's what I did. And it does seem to be a little bit clearer. A little bit clearer. And I was looking for something to show you for Black History Month, and I decided to show you some historical quilts. I'm pushing the computer back a little bit so I could have room to maneuver and not knock things over. But, oh my goodness, is there dusty in here? I found a couple bags. Look at this, you guys. These are 2.5-inch blocks that I cut up by hand years ago. And speaking of scrap quilts, strip quilts, the quilt that I made a couple of weeks ago, I can link it in the chat, were 2.5-inch strips. But between each 2.5-inch strip, I put a 2.5-inch square block so that it would break it up. And I called it dots and dashes. So I got all these dots. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm going to bequeath and bequest them to, maybe I'll break them up in a few hundred at a time, and whoever pays for the shipping on them can get some of them. Excuse me, Hershey. No. Come. So I had all these blocks that were cut up. I forgot they were back there. I'm not doing those anymore. I'm on to other things, and way up there, those, you see where that big silver pot is? That's actually a bowl, a 30-quart bowl. And the 30-quart bowl is sitting on top of 4 black hampers. Each of those hampers is filled with finished quilt tops that I need to get out. They have been finished for at least 10 years. I'm still working on stuff. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to share some of the pieces that I have already cut up with the rest of you all. So who would like to see some vintage quilts? Put a 1 in the chat if you would like to see them. So Yankee's sister say, hey, dear Joanne Stevens. Excuse me. And Yankee's sister, you guys, in the town she lives in, she used to go to church with some Auntie Joanne Stevens and my relative. She sang in the choir with them. And we didn't know each other then, but now it seems like I've known her forever because she's known my family forever. And we've gone to church forever. So, that being said, let me show you. Nobody put a 1 in the chat, so I guess you guys don't want to. Mona did what? Said hi, everyone. Mona, everybody put, oh, there's the ones coming up. You want to see some cool Psalm 146? Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm trying to put exclamation mark GQUAT in the chat. Ah, maybe one of the mods can help me. Oh, wait a minute. Here it goes. Here I go. QGQUAT. And, oops, I did it wrong. Don't listen to it. I didn't see the first one. I'm going to put the right one in now. QUAT. Don't get old, y'all. No, I'm not claiming old. I'm an elder. It's a privilege to live long enough to be an elder. Okay, let me get to the bottom. The bottom of the chat. Oh, Lord. You got it. Thank you, Mike. So, and let me see there. Show this to drop your chat. There it is. And let's look at some quilts. These are not the ones that I was trying to take out. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. But these are the ones I got. I went in the closet and there's this big, giant tote up there. So I had to get a stool to put it up so that when it slid down off the top shelf, it wouldn't fall on me, but it would fall down to the stool. Then I could drag it down to a chair. But let's see what Auntie Ellen has done and some of my elderly friends. Some of them are no longer on earth, but I wanted you to see some quilts that I've done over the years. And here's, let me pull this down some. Sending the new cutting. Oh, Tigsy, thank you. Thank you. And Tigsy, these are some of the strips that you have. Tigsy, you guys, sent some money for postage, and she has some of these. Of course, she's so busy. She's such a wanted woman on all these chats when she gets off from work. I don't know how she has time to do anything. So here is, can you see all these tiny little 1 inch blocks in there, you guys? This quilt is called My Heart's Delight, and it's 21.5 inches by 21.5 inches. It does have a faded label in the back. Yes, Mike, rosemary cuttings. Tigsy said, I saw them, thank you. And it said, one of my dearest friends, who was a master quilter as well, this was pieced by Mary Terry in Vaughan, North Carolina, hand quilted by Ellen Pankey, who is me, in Warrenton, North Carolina, in October 2008. And I wanted to show you, do you see all those tiny little stitches? On the back, I can show you like how little some of the tiny stitches. And the label is the quilt's birth certificate. You see that little heart in the middle? The very first quilt I ever made, my sister Joanne Stevens, just in time to display on Valentine's Day. That's what I thought, Sissy. I'm going to put a couple grosgrain ribbons on here and put it up there in the corner, that little hanging bar. And those of you who sew, I I'm looking. Yes, there's a mitered corner, but this is one of my display quilts. See those tiny little stitches? I put the stitches a 1/4 inch apart, and I hand stitch all of my display quilts. So I'll put that one up there. Now, Remember, Mike, this will make you laugh. Hi, Ruby. Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I had a quilt block that I wanted to show you all. Well, one thing I have over here, you see this purple? GQUAT, you got a pen and paper to write them from 0 to 100? Not right now, Rudy. I'm not going to do any raffles right now, but thank you for reminding me. And welcome, 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 Rudy Irahita. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, this is the purple binding. You won't be able to see all those little stitches, but I wanted you to see it up close. It'll blend in with the background, or I can use this for a 2.5-inch background and put another kind of a binding on it. So this will make you all laugh. You know how I had, well, no, I won't say you don't know because some of you are new. There's no such thing as ugly fabric. You just did not cut it small enough. Oh, okay. The I guess the vineyard chicks are doing some kind of a raffle. So when I was in Arizona, my sister Joanne took me to a a premium secondhand store, and they had some fabric. Well, the fabric had frogs all over it, and my sister said, "Oh, those are creepy. Don't get that fabric." So she took me home, and I couldn't sleep that night. All I could think about was this gorgeous fabric. This gorgeous fabric. You guys, hold on. I'm sorry, 1 minute. I'm going to have to put you on pause. Somebody's at my door. Sorry, you guys. I had a special delivery. Crafting on a Dime with Shay Shay. Thank you for coming. Mona, you're probably headed off. You've had a long afternoon. So, about the frog fabric. Auntie Joanne took me back. This was a premium fabric. Too bad it had these stupid frogs all over it. And this is what the frogs look like up close. So Auntie Joanne says, "You didn't hear Hershey bark?" Oh, he was over there. It was somebody that he knew at the door. Maria Graham says, "Mike, say hello to your wife for you." Oh, that's for Mike. You guessed Amazon, so you were close. Yes. And she gave him a treat. There are some neighbors that always come with treats. So let me put this down on my lap because this is a big quilt. So you see all these frogs? I took this, I have this philosophy from one of my quilting friends that says there's no such thing as ugly fabric, you just didn't cut it small enough. So first, let me show you the back of this quilt. It's got all beautiful this beautiful fabric. I even have a piece block on the back. Isn't that pretty? This one block has a gazillion pieces in it. Look, just this one little piece has one, two, four, six, seven pieces in a 2.5 inch block. So this is actually a churn dash block. And you see, I machine quilted it. I don't know if you can see it. Let me show you. You can see it. So these were just some random fat quarters that I put on the back. It's almost like a double-sided quilt, okay? But wait until you see the front. The front is actually a mystery quilt. What is a mystery quilt? Well, you get these clues every week. There's a lady named Bonnie Hunter on Facebook, and she's the one that says there's no such thing as ugly fabric, you didn't cut it small enough. This is the ugly fabric quilt, you guys. So I'm going to move it over. Look at all these blocks. All this. Who would turn a quilt like this down? Do you see all these different fabrics? Now, and they're all premium fabrics. I had a fat quarter bundle with all these fancy, fancy cuts. And it was a mystery quilt. I didn't know what it would look like when it was put together. But guess what? No more ugly fabrics. No more ugly fabrics. You see what the edges look like? You see what the machine quilting looks like? Yes, Yankee Sister, a two-sided quilt. I'm sweating just showing it to you. And it's pieced with cotton batting. And I just want to show you, I put the binding on from the front, pulled it to the back, and hand stitched it. And this is what it should look like when you're hand stitching in the back. It should be kind of invisible. And all these tiny, tiny little stitches. Auntie Joanne said that quilt is amazing. Oh no, sissy, you almost made me leave this ugly frogs, ugly frogs in the store. Okay. Now, some of you may not feel like piecing, sewing all those tiny pieces together. Psalm 146 says it's perfect. Now, this is something you can do for bean pie. This one actually has a hanging sleeve already in it. It doesn't have a birth certificate because it's not a real quilt. It's, although I did put some things on it, this was a world map. And at the time, my great grandchildren were little, and I was teaching them about different parts of the world. We have family in Tanzania, and I would show them where Tanzania was in Africa. It's way over here by Lake Victoria near Kenya. See Tanzania. And when Nana was in North Carolina, they call me Nana. I put North Carolina over here. I put New York and Connecticut in here. And it has a hanging sleeve. And this you could use, I guess it was a 1 yard piece of fabric by 44. And I used to have it hanging over my ironing board. Thank you, Donzel Cooper. He says he loves the map quilt. And this is how you can teach children about geography. Heck, you could teach most grown folks about geography. Some people don't know north, south, east from west. If you gave them a map and they didn't have GPS in their phone, they couldn't get from where they live to uh, 25 miles away. Because back when I started driving, you either had a road map, an atlas. I have a couple of those, by the way. All of you should have a map, at least of your state or the places that you go. Suppose something happens and you don't have GPS, you don't have the maps. You should be able to read a map and know which interstate to go. I used to go from Connecticut to North Carolina. I've driven from Connecticut to California, from Connecticut to Arizona. I have driven up north, south, east, west using a map. A map. Okay, well, so now this is another big one, and it's heavy. This is that old cotton, and this was the lady who taught me. I've always known how to sew, but I didn't know how to put the three layers together to make a quilt. And a lady who, when she retired and sold her house, moved to the same building, and she's the one that got me my my application for here, and then I had to go on the waiting list. And this is one of her quilts, and it's that old heavy cotton. When my grandmother in North Carolina used to make cotton, the cotton was in rolls, like in sheets, and it was heavy, heavy, heavy. Auntie Joanne says that quilt is fire. Thank you, Sissy. So Mrs. Evans made this quilt, and what she did is she, let me pull this down a little bit. Now, she's no longer on earth. If she was, she would be 105. So she cut some leaves out, some leaves, and she machine appliqued them to this quilt, but this whole entire quilt is hand quilted. It's all hand quilted. The way they did the binding back here, let me look and see first. No, she sewed the binding on with the sewing machine, but all these little tiny stitches, let me show you the back. All these little stitches she did by hand. She did by hand. Oh, okay. And then she took paint. You could do that, you guys, to embellish quilts. She put the leaves on. This is unbleached muslin. I love unbleached muslin because it makes things wrinkled, really wrinkled, and it makes it look vintage even if it's not. Then she took little black paint and put it up and down going here. And I'll see if I can show you some more of the leaf blocks. Okay. Oops, going the wrong way. And here are some more. Whoa. This one, I hear my shoulders cracking trying to pick that one up. Okay. Now, here is one of my pride and joys. I'm looking for this one block I had because I wanted to show you guys how a log cabin block went, but I have so much stuff out. That's okay. That's amazing to see, Auntie. Thank you. So this is another double-sided quilt, and there is an Australian fabric designer named Kafe Facet, and he makes the most amazing, colorful fabrics. And so this is another mystery quilt, but this is the back of the quilt. So I took some half square triangles and I sewed them together. So this is the back of the quilt. It's a double-sided quilt. This is not even the right side. I just loved all these flower fabrics and the unbleached muslin. You can see where I machine quilted it. This is the back. So see, this is a kind of this is an example of modern quilting. But instead of modern quilting, like there's a quilt challenge going on with Afro modern fabrics. These are batiks and flowers by Katy Facet. And again, this is the back. And now this mystery quilt, there's no, well, while I'm back here, I'll show you again the hand binding with the hand stitches on it, sewn from the front, pulled to the back. The way I come up with these combinations, I just picked a whole bunch of fabrics by the same designer and I mixed them and matched them. Mixed them and matched them. So here is the front. And you could, excuse me, put this together, excuse me, any way you wanted to. This is how I put the blocks together. And then I put a little sashing so that I could show where the edge of it is. And then I put, these are called piano keys, little strips with a piece of his fabric and a piece of unbleached muslin. I like that unbleached muslin or light colored look. Like I did my dots and dash quilt a couple of weeks ago. Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. How you doing, Nikki Nick? Over there in the DMV. So this is all these tiny little blocks. These, you see this, here's a star like in the middle, and then there are pinwheels. Let me see if there are any more. I guess, yeah, there are a couple of stars in here. So this is what this one looked like. And this was a mystery quilt where you got a set of instructions every week, and they would say, like, cut out X amount of blocks in different colors, cut out a contrasting light color, and then you pick out your fabrics. You have no idea what you're making or what it's going to look like. What it's going to look like. Yep, life is lifing. I know it is, Nikki. And Nikki lives, well, I'm not going to say, but I know why she's saying it. And I'm not going to put her business out there, Nikki Nick. So, this is another vintage quilt. It was made by my friend, Mrs. Evans. And it's kind of like chevrons or something, stars. You can see where they're all hand quilted. Hand quilted. She had this old black Singer sewing machine, and you see how she did the edges, and she put the binding on so that it would be turned under, and she would make her quilts like in sections, like a king size quilt. She quilted everything either by hand or on her domestic sewing machine, and she would make two twin quilts and then sew them, piece them down the middle to make a king size quilt. Hey, sis, Miss Shirley, OG Gardner. They're asking her about her knee. Oh, I knows about those knees. I have two of those titanium ham hocks in the front of my leg, Miss Shirley, and one in my hip, and one in my little hip. Oh, actually, my hip is not little, y'all. And then what I'm going to do, my friend Mrs. Evans, this is her border on her quilt. I'm going to, because she's no longer on Earth. Hey, Mike, MB Heritage Farm. Thanks for coming and welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So these are some of these old style quilts, you guys, where she had a quilting frame and she would sit and put it up in her living room. She showed me how to stretch out the backing and then the batting and then the quilt top on her dining room table right upstairs to show me how to put the quilts together. So I thought you would enjoy. For Black history is American history, it's everybody's history. So I'm sharing some of the history that I know about and where it looks like kind of like the Mitsubishi logo or something. It's actually the little triangles on the side of all these little stars that she hand put in. Okay, so I will show you the quilt that launched my long arm quilting career. My long arm quilting career. So I moved back to North Carolina in 2007 on some family land. Excuse me. And we rebuilt it, built it up, bought more animals, refenced it because we hadn't lived there. I hadn't lived there for a long time. Miss Shirley said she's feeling better every day. Thanks for asking. Oh, Miss Shirley, I don't know if I talked to you, but when you were in the hospital, my mother heard me say, Mother, Miss Shirley's in here. She said, that pain ain't no joke. It is no joke. And you know what, you guys? They give you medicine that's supposed to take away the pain. It makes you lightheaded, makes you feel floaty, but it doesn't stop the pain. The pain does not go away. Famous, rooted in essential oil. Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you, each and every one of you. And he says, Happy Black History Month. So I'm going to show you what launched my long arm quilting career because this quilt I'm about to show you, I had just moved to North Carolina and I made a quilt that I wanted to show it. It wasn't the North Carolina State Fair. It was another big quilt show in North Carolina. And I finished this quilt. I'm going to show you the back first because the back is amazing. And I took it to get it long arm quilted and I asked them to expedite it. They charge you extra for a rush job. And a part of it was stitching in the ditch for the quilt finishing. I didn't know that they charge for custom quilting. They charged me this entire quilt for custom quilting, and I paid $1,200. Did you hear me? $1,200 for the quilting, the machine quilting in this quilt because it's custom quilted, and I told her what I wanted. So around, let me see if I can hold it up. Well, you can see it even from back here. You see like all these lines going up and down, and you see these feathers, these fancy, fancy feathers. This is fancy feathers, you guys. Can you see that? These are fancy, fancy, fancy. These are piano keys, and each one of these is double stitched. And the corners have a special type of corner. They're not square. They're not square. They have like a V. Can you see the V? And they have a special type of binding going around it. This does have a hanging sleeve because this is one of my show quilts. I've never put it on my bed or slept under it. But I want to show you something else. I love dragonflies. Can you see? I'll keep it still. Can you see the dragonfly? I had her to quilt in the corners, and I used dragonfly fabric. Can you see him? His little wings and stuff? Okay, now, and along the edges, you see these loop-de-loops? I specified that's what I wanted in the board, some of the borders. I told her how I wanted my piano keys. This is why it cost me $1,200. I'm like, I might as well put $1,200 down on my own long arm machine. You can't get a long arm machine for less than $10,000. So I'm showing you guys because this is my pride and joy. And then this is some this is what the feathers look like on the front, like the custom feathers that are made to shape each corner. And I hand cut each one of these. I'm going to do it a little bit by little because it's heavy and my shoulders can't lift it up. So here's the label. And the name of this quilt is called Royal Purple Stars, designed and pieced by Ellen Pankey. It's 81 inches by 98 inches, all cotton, machine quilted by Kathy Kirk. And I made this quilt, I finished it May 29th, 2009. So just gives you an idea how long I've really been quilting and the level of my quilting. So now let me show you how trying to show how like all these fancy stitching is going up and down, whoa, up and down, up and down. I love purple too, famous. I just love. And I put a special pieced star in the corner, each corner of this quilt, along with the dragonflies that I had. No, I didn't win I didn't get first place either after all of that. So now let me show you each of the 12 stars on here is different. Okay. So let me show you why I call myself a master quilter. And then you see this one, the center here, how these are like a kind of fancy feathers. These are what you don't see in everyday quilts. And this is why I don't put my quilts just anywhere. They have to have insurance and security because I don't want my quilts to disappear. And okay, I'm going to show you each one of the stars because every star on here is different. Here's one star, two, no, I'm going to show you individually. Two. This one's kind of hard to see because some of the tips are purple, but you see here, all eight, and they're eight pointed stars. But you see the middle, you see, this is a pinwheel in here, then it does something else out here, then it goes something out here. Each star has so many pieces to it. So many pieces to it. See, this one you can see is an eight pointed star. You see all the pieces. Okay. And then there's this one. Now, let me show you the next row of stars. Oh. And the purple on the outside is a hand dyed star. I mean fabric. So we're going down to the next row. Look at this purple star. How cute is she? This one. And these have a lot of Asian fabrics in them. This one has pansies in purple in it. This one is almost like an octagon in the middle of it. Like an octagon. And then you see all these different pieces. Each one of these stars has about 30 pieces in it. That's how long it took me to finish that quilt. That's why I had to hurry up, Sissy, when I was in North Carolina. It took me 1 month. I had like 1 month, but I quilted all day. I used to belong to a quilting group. So Tuesday and Thursday, we would go there and quilt all day. And then I quilted at home as well. So that's one star. Here's another one of these centerpieces. Okay. Here's one more star with all those little pieces in there. Coming down, I want to show you the sides because this one, like these center triangles, there is a triangular set of feathers at the top, as well as feathers down the bottom, and then all these diamond stitches. Okay, child, this got me sweating. Ugh. And I think I just have 4 more stars down here. So there's the stars in this corner, all the V's, all the feathering. This is what makes quilts cost thousands of dollars. This one, this one would be a several $1,000 quilt. Just the quilting in it. Now you see why she charged me $1,200. This one, you know how I showed you the little pinwheels in the middle? You see how this star is different, has a bigger pinwheel in the middle. And then this one with all the gold. Oops. The gold. Miss Shirley, I'm going to have to go get a bionic shoulder after all this, girlfriend. And this is that special cotton that's very lightweight, but it's still heavy when you get 81 by 80 inches. Here's another one of the stars with the tiny pinwheel in the middle. Just and it's in a circle. Then it goes out and does so each star blade has like 3 different fabrics in it. Hey Sonia, just gifted. You all had me up in the bushes all night the other night. I was hanging, and here is the final star. And I just love this Asian fabric with all the flowers in it. So that, whoa, it's it's actually good to take your quilts out once in a while. These have been in this tote for, I don't think I've taken that one down from that shelf for like at least 4 or 5 years. So, silence is my virtue. It ain't my virtue, but thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate each and every one of you. So if you guys ever want to have a private quilt show, here it is. And I will get some more quilts out. I have several totes of quilts that I use only for exhibition. I don't put them on my bed or anything. I have 2 beds in my bedroom, and I just have gray, nice gray colored, neutral colored on there. Michelle said, you cracked me up when you said I couldn't watch the bandage come off. I have watched too many in real life. Miss Shirley, that was a private joke. She was taking the bandages off. Baby, I said, oh. I would show you all mine. Look, I'll show you yours. No, I'm not going to show you. But I've got, I'm bionic. I got titanium, everything. There used to be a show called The $6 Million Man, and he had all these bionic parts. I swear for y'all, I have so many, so many. Silence is my virtue. You're new to this program. If you put exclamation mark GQUAT, you can share your channel link and we can come and find you. Silence is my virtue. Let me see if I can highlight it. That way it oh no, that wasn't the one I was trying to do. Boy, don't be. Silence is my virtue. Scar and tell. Oh, that is too funny. This is what I was trying to do, I think. No, no, I want to. I don't think. Hold on, you guys, because I hope I didn't accidentally just block somebody. So there's Miss Shirley put in the hashtag GQuat. So anybody who is unfamiliar with the other channels, please go by and check each other out. So how did you guys like this? Val creates. Hey Val, we don't see you so much now that you're back in work, girlfriend. I miss you, although I did see you the other day for a little while. You got on and got off. Got off. So let me ask you guys your opinion because I want to take this down. When you stitch and you stitch on the diagonal, they tend to stretch. This one won't stretch too much because it's foundation piece. What does foundation piece means? It means there's another piece of fabric on the back that's stabilizing it so that it won't move too much, and but I'm still going to take it down because it's not finished. But how many of you think I should put a little border around it? Put a one if you think I should put a little border on there before I put the binding, just like to frame it. Like you take a photograph or a painting to have it framed. It seems like there's always the little cardboard piece. Like one of the few that I didn't is like you see that little tomahawk, Texas tomahawk quilt up there, because I didn't want to interfere with the negative space in there. So I just wanted you to see the tomahawk, the arrowheads, and then the black, and then the mixed binding. I think so too. So I've already got that purple fabric out and cut. And then we'll see what color. Oh, something bright. A bright, bright, brilliant, bright one. So Miss Shirley says, your hands are amazing and blessed. Not everyone can quilt like that. I didn't start, Miss Shirley, until I was 50 years old. I was 50. So y'all still got time. Y'all still got time. I've always known how to sew, but I didn't quilt until my friend that I just told you about just showed you some of her quilts, until she showed me how to physically put the package together and smooth it out and put borders on and sashing and strips in between. I didn't know how to do all that. I didn't know how to make scrap quilts. All the quilts I made were matchy matchy. Purple will frame it nicely. Ah, Mike, you like purple too. I know you do. I know you do. All the lovely people who like purple. I love, love, love it. So, you guys, thanks for coming. And I will end it here and let the stuff get some air and fold them back up. And sometime soon, I'll bring you some more quilts because I have some Black History quilts. I have a couple of Underground Railroad story quilts that I want to show you that were handmade, that I took a couple of years working on them. Those were a labor of love. So now it's time to say goodbye to all our lovely friends. Oh, you learned how to sew at 65? Well, good for you, youngin'. I didn't even know you were 65, girlfriend. Can't look like it. Your background has purple, so you can kind of see it. Thank you. Thank you. I love, love, love purple. So most of the accent, my apartment is kind of neutral except for the art. It's like gray, and I have black leather chairs and glass and a gray leather sofa, black and gray leather chairs. So Yankee Sister love, love, loves it. Thank you. And an American Sign Language. This is an I. This is an L. This is a U. This is how I say I love you. Ego amote, mother. My sister says, I really enjoyed the live, sissy. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. PIA, thank you for coming and welcome. She says, good evening, Auntie. Oh, PIA, you need to let me know if you want, ouch, some of these 2.5-inch blocks. You already sent some postage. It'll make it a little heavier. Sonia just gift it, but let me know because since you already have a package going in the mail, and anybody else that wants some of these 2.5-inch squares, perfectly cut by Auntie Ellen. I used to have a big cutting table. It was like 60 inches wide, and I would stack the fabrics up, maybe 8 deep, and cut, cut, cut. I could cut so much. And so, good night, y'all. Ego